there's been a point where it's like a split off where you have to decide which world you want to be in. Do you want to be in the digital world or do you want to be in the real world? Quite literally, because they're doing some weird stuff. Like, I've noticed they have made it to where they block out a lot of serious conversations. Anything that's telling you to get outside, anything that's motivating you and inspiring you to actually go and do things, anything that's telling you the truth about the way the human body works, the mind works, the brain works, about how things that could potentially benefit you, that's being like blocked. Yet stuff that's designed to keep you in a loop and in fear and going in a circle, like, that's what's being promoted, right? And what I mean by that is, like, I miss it. Like, I enjoyed it when the algorithms were based on humans. It's now based on, artificial systems and metrics and collecting data, harvesting information, harvesting data, and basically figuring out the best ways to control you, right? Figuring out the best ways to manipulate you and to control your psyche and control where you go, what you do, where you move. They don't want you in relationships. They don't want you to have friendships. They don't even want you to have hobbies that can interfere with you being glued to a screen. And inevitably, they want to take it further to where you're completely immersed, right? And this is kind of bad because, we do have like a 3D physical world, and it's not as bad out in the real world as they would like some people to think. They want people to be afraid. They want people to be scared, like, oh, you've got to, stay at home, don't go anywhere, it's so dangerous out there. It's like, that's part of life, and you do have to learn good survival skills. And sometimes, regardless of what you do, things can happen, right? But it doesn't mean you should be afraid, because, from a sociological perspective, as a sociologist as well, in addition to being a musician, I'm also a sociologist. I have 5 related degrees, graduated from one of the top schools in the country in sociology, in case you're new here. One of the most dangerous things you can do to your body and to your health is to keep yourself isolated. And we did do experiments, and there was a lot of data that was taken when a lot of people were staying at home and seeing, well, what if they are interacting virtually? What if they're doing group chats and group live stream parties? Will that take the place, at least somewhat, of a real world conversation? And we found out, no, the brain doesn't process it like that. The brain sees it as almost, I guess you could say, like foreign, but it sees it, it doesn't interpret it as real social connection. So unfortunately, what ends up happening is people end up not having any benefits from it and becoming more and more isolated and lonely and sad. That's what we determined. But if you actually get outside and get some sunlight and interact with real people, even if they're not people you're interested in talking to, sometimes you'll be surprised how good it feels just to talk to somebody random that you normally wouldn't talk to. It does so much for your brain, and you may find that things that scared you actually weren't even important at all. So that's something that I really want to note, because I've seen so many people that are living in realities that things can change really easy, but they're afraid to live in the real world. They want to stay in the digital world. And then if you're in the real world and you try to talk to somebody in the digital world who is like completely hypnotized into being there, hold on. It's like when you try to talk to people online about them, getting outside, being around other people, trying new things. In my case, at least, I feel like I've noticed that stuff gets blocked, and that people don't, just gets blocked. They don't want people knowing that stuff. They want people, and these are my opinions. There's definitely an agenda to like keep people hyper engaged and to keep people from doing stuff, whether it's good for society or whether it's good for people or not, you know? And that's one of the things that I have an issue with. Should we go down to the pit? I'm giving you my take because I feel like I wouldn't be a responsible human if I just didn't say anything about what I feel is the greatest crisis that's ever happened in human history. And I think it's keeping people isolated and keeping people trapped into these little bubbles and these artificial worlds away from other people. I think that if they were to actually get out, most of their anxieties or fears or worries or concerns or things that they've been dealing with that's been stressful will go away. Like, I've talked to so many men who are what they would call incels, guys that don't go anywhere, guys that don't get girlfriends, guys that don't talk to other people. And what I find is they just sit inside all day and just listen to a bunch of artificial programs talk to them about what girls want and why they can't get girls and why girls are bad, but they don't actually go out and like talk to real people and get like a real experience with a girl. They just go deeper and deeper into these little bubbles. You know, it's really bizarre. Get outside, go do something fun, do an activity, and comment an activity you've done within the last 30 days that you've really enjoyed, especially if you've done something within the last 7 days. Comment what it was, and be sure to make sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.